Leading up to the draft, very few predicted Anthony Black to be selected by the Orlando Magic. It was all because of the perceived logjam already present at both guard positions. Gary Harris Jr. needs to play in order for the floor to be spaced out. Markelle Fultz, Jalen Suggs, and Cole Anthony are all still under 25 and deserving of starter minutes. Throw Anthony Black into the mix and you understand the confusion and frustration from Magic fans on draft night. But amidst all the ruckus, Paolo Banchero tweeted that he sees the vision, and like the reigning Rookie of the Year, I also see the vision. And it's Anthony Black starting on a perennial title contending team next to Paolo and Franz, either being the do-it-all secondary playmaker next to Markelle, or being the floor general orchestrating the offense next to Suggs or Jett Howard, or maybe a star shooting guard that the Magic acquire or sign in the coming years. It's up to the Magic front office to construct the future roster and starting lineup, but whatever his role will be, Anthony Black will be up for it. His role next season, however, is still up in the air. How will AB fit in a roster with 5 guards under contract? Well, I believe Black is the type of player that can play and even thrive with multiple guards in the rotation. He'll be able to raise the floor of our bench players and make things easier for our main core players in the starting lineup. And get this, as time goes by, I expect the Texas native to become like a true vocal leader both on the court and in the locker room for the Magic. And I'm going to explain it all why in this video. I'm going to break down his game while also bringing it all back to how it'll all translate onto the court with the Magic. So let's get straight into it. Alright, Anthony Black is another classic Waltham, excels at everything but shooting type draft pick. With AB, there's no other real weakness in his game unless you really want to nitpick a few things. He's a wing-sized point guard with a tremendous feel for the game, with the ability to make advanced reads on the fly, put pressure at the rim, and is extremely switchable defensively. He's an underrated athlete. I think like Franz, his athleticism will pop out in the NBA with more pace and space. The former Razorback plays the game the right way and impacts winning basketball. Per Pivot Analytics, Arkansas was 10 points better with him on the floor versus off, and specifically their offense was 8.5 points better with him on the floor. He's an instigator. Like Suggs, he'll get into the skin of opposing guards, taunt away fans, and just will wear his heart on his sleeve every night. You'll never question if he cares or not. On top of all that, Magic fans will love how he plays through injuries and is reliable. He played the most minutes out of every freshman last season, played all 36 games, and averaged 35 minutes per game despite dealing with multiple ankle injuries, a severe knee contusion, and a wrist injury. Magic fans will also love his competitive nature and how he plays with extreme physicality on both ends of the floor. Also, the 6'7" guard isn't afraid to mix it up with bigger players in the paint for boards, as he averages an impressive 6 rebounds per game for a freshman guard. Basically, he's just a highly versatile player. And versatility is the main reason why the Magic drafted Anthony Black despite having so many guards in their rotation. He's skilled enough to play different positions interchangeably and various roles for his team. For example, be the connective wing next to Fultz and Suggs, and in closing lineups with Paolo, Franz, and Wendell. Yes, he'll be able to play the 2 and the 3, even with his questionable outside shot and scoring off the bounce, concerns I'll address later on in this video. AB can contribute right away as a lead ball handler off the bench. His playmaking is his greatest strength right now. He was a primary facilitator at Arkansas and looked extremely poised when operating out of the pick and roll, despite not having a reliable scoring wing and any real spot-up threat in the rotation. The lack of spacing was and could still be an issue for the Magic next season. Thankfully, Anthony Black has the ability to dig out passing lanes even when the paint is congested. His basketball IQ is the reason why. He plays at his own pace when operating out of the pick and roll with an insanely fast processing speed. His patience really stands out from his clips. He waits for his teammates to get into position to set them up for passes like this. He lulls and tricks defenders into thinking he's going one way and passes it another. Just look at this pass right here. He threads it through 2 defenders, putting it at the perfect spot to avoid the help defender. Like Markelle, he's good at slithering through defenders and pacing himself. And also like Markelle and even Franz, he's an exceptional interior passer, and I think that was a big reason why a team with multiple scoring bigs like the Orlando Magic drafted him. They'll always have at least one good interior passer on the floor at all times. Black uses his slashing prowess to create openings by collapsing the defense. He'll thread passes to Paolo, Wendell, Mo Wagner, etc. for easy buckets, like bounce passes, dump-offs, lobs, and also this clever pinpoint inbound pass from the baseline. He's already mastered the one-handed pocket pass, even with his offhand. The Magic also have a team with a lot of great cutters, and they're all gonna thrive with AB on the floor. Jordan Walsh and Ricky Council were great cutters at Arkansas, and Black routinely found them on time. Now, here's why I think Anthony Black will have no problem sharing the backcourt with either Fultz or Suggs. Because of his connective playmaking, he can serve as a connective tissue in lineups next to Markelle and with Paolo and Franz. He'll have a similar role to Derek White of the Celtics, being the ultimate connector, help bring the ball up at times, maybe initiate the set, and then cut to the basket or the corner and just be ready to make a play, especially off the catch. He's excellent at making quick reads from attacking closeouts, from short rolls, off the catch, and you could also use him as a passing help in the post to attack zone defenses. He maintains his composure and makes the right play after being trapped in the paint. On the perimeter, he'll keep the ball moving by throwing that extra swing pass to an open shooter. Now, he's often been compared to Lonzo Ball, another good connective playmaking point forward type, but unlike Lonzo, Black can at least attack the rim, collapse the defense, and kick it out to open shooters. Not just off the bounce, he can also kick it out, being the short roller from screens. Now, what about his scoring, especially off the dribble? Defenses will have to respect his scoring if he wants to play shooting guard and small forward effectively. I think he'll eventually be able to. He proved it at Arkansas, being the second option during their stretch when they were dealing with all their injuries. And listen, the spacing he'll see in the NBA will look like a whole nother game to him coming from Arkansas. The Razorbacks ranked 318th in the nation in 3-point shooting percentage. I don't know why they rarely played their shooting specialist Joseph Pinion. Their best shooter in their lineup was out for 90% of the season and second best shooter for more than half. And despite all that, Anthony Black still got to the rim at will, and that's why I think he'll be able to play the slashing wing roll type in the NBA as a rookie from the get-go. 36% of his total shot attempts were from near the rim, and he wasn't wasteful, shooting an effective 54% at the rim in the half court. He can explode off both feet, and a strong build will help him absorb contact and finish well even in the NBA, and he doesn't struggle at all finishing with his offhand. His touch around the basket is fine as he hits some tough off-balance shots through contact in college. On top of all of that, he can post up smaller players and has decent footwork like he showed here. The 19-year-old draws fouls like a seasoned vet already, baiting defenders with pump fakes as he posted an impressive free throw rate of 57. Now, he's not super explosive off the bounce. He's more deceptively quick with unpredictable pace and ability to get downhill. He uses deceleration well. I'm sure he picked that up growing up in Texas, watching prime Harden. He's mastered the stop and go, and his favorite move is definitely the hezi, specifically this trigger step hezi and the skip step hezi. And he also has his quick left to right crossover from the top of the key in his arsenal. He'll put his big frame to use when pressed full court against smaller, pesky defenders. They have no chance against him. And if needed, he has crafty footwork to shake off his defender to get to the rim, as you can see in this clip right here. Again, like his playmaking, he's very slithery smooth when operating in the mid-range out of the pick and roll. He uses his big frame to nudge away his defender, keeping him by his hip while utilizing the gravity of the roller to swiftly attack an open lane. The paint is packed that he can dig into his floater and teardrop bag. The problem is that he didn't shoot them enough, and the same can be said about his mid-range game. His pull-up makes from the mid-range all look smooth. Like this one here is so natural. It's confusing why he didn't shoot more from this range in college because he shot a respectable 41% from off the dribble twos. But I think in the NBA he'll have more opportunities to do so with draw scheme defenses and having more space to operate. Another reason why I'm buying into his fit with the Magic is his off-ball scoring. He's a willing cutter, knows how to move off the ball, and he's low-key excellent at this Dwayne Wade chop cut, using his teammates' gravity to attack off the catch when cutting from the wing. And while shooting off the catch is an area of improvement, he was surprisingly decent while spotting up. I think he'll be able to space the floor, standing in the weak side corner, while Markelle operates a pick and roll with Wendell. Defenders will have to stay at home with Black because of his threat as a spot-up shooter. Per CBS Sports tracking data, he made 49% of his unguarded three-pointers and 61% overall of the unguarded shots he took. While we're on the topic of shooting, it's the only real concern about his game. Look, his percentages weren't terrible. I'm only really worried about his shooting mechanics. He's an underrated athlete, has enough wiggle in his game to create space off the dribble, but his shooting form is currently putting a cap on his ceiling. It's very unorthodox. It's like a standstill motion. His release is just too slow to translate to the pros. Now, from recent workouts, his release does look a little bit quicker, and it's leaving me hopeful. And like I said earlier, he's already a capable spot-up shooter. Per Stats Reform, Anthony Black shot 37.5%, 18 for 48 on uncontested 3-point shots. What's even more encouraging is the fact that he shot 47%, 16 for 34 on threes from NBA distance. I'm gonna bet on Anthony Black to become at least a 36% shooter from 3 on high volume by his second season. Like I said in my Jalen Suggs video, I always bet on guys with great work ethic, with the mindset and the drive to achieve more, and AB is one of them. Suggs improved his 3-point percentage from 21% to 33% and shot 36% on 4 attempts per game in his last 20 games of the season. Expect Anthony Black to improve along a similar trajectory. Finally, moving on to his defense, which is one of his greatest strengths. He's a switchable defender who uses his size to guard up to the 3. After Casey Wallace, I think he was the best point of attack defender in his class. He possesses good speed and quickness to stick with players on the perimeter. When Black was their primary defender, opponents shot just 33% against him. Anthony Black hounds and annoys guards without fouling, only being called for 2.5 fouls per game in 35 minutes, so he defends with high intensity but also with poise. He's a very heads-up type of defender, always alert, has active arms, can gobble up some difficult deflections and steals like this one. Off the ball, he rarely loses his man, and is always in good position to get deflections and steals. And I like how he puts his hands up to prevent passing lanes if he sees a player cutting. He fights through the screens, and even if he does get killed on one, he'll recover quickly and contest from behind. He averaged 2.1 steals per game, has incredibly quick hands, and is great at poking away recovery steals. In the paint, the combination of his 32-inch standing vertical with his near 8'7" standing reach will allow him to protect the rim as a secondary helper if needed. From his clips, you'll see him routinely make timely rotations for contests. Rounding off, I know he's one of the newest members of the team, but I think Anthony Black could be the future locker room leader of the Magic. He has all the leadership qualities you need in a player, and he showed it at Arkansas. With the team's best shooter Trevor Brazile out for the season, and highly ranked combo guard Nick Smith Jr. in and out of the lineup, Anthony Black was tasked with being the leader. While being the primary facilitator and the second scoring option, even the first option in games where Ricky Council struggled, and Anthony Black did well. He was the glue that held his team together during a rough stretch in January with all of their injuries. The schedule was brutal during that stretch, but a short-handed Arkansas team went a respectable 8-7 against some of the best teams in the SEC like Kentucky, Missouri, Texas A&M, Vanderbilt. They also played a tough away game at Baylor. So he's a leader and he also has heart. I think his stats would have looked even better if he was healthy all season. He injured his ankle in his first ever college game against North Dakota State, and according to this Arkansas fan on Twitter, he was apparently playing with a walking boot for most of the season. And as I mentioned earlier on in the video, he dealt with a knee contusion and a wrist injury as well. He also injured his ankle against Kansas in the tournament, but stuck it out and clammed Grady Dick and helped his team advance. Plus he had a gutsy performance in the next game against eventual champs UConn. The kid is just competitive as hell and just fits in perfectly with the culture the Magic are building. And finally, I have to put an end to all this. He's not another Elfrid Payton. There's only two similarities between them, being good defensive guards and their grown out hairstyles. Elfrid shot 26% from 3 in college. Unlike AB, there weren't any indicators of Payton ever becoming a good shooter because he only averaged 61% from the line in 3 seasons in college. Furthermore, he was a 3-year college player who had a fluke junior year playing in a much weaker conference in the SEC. Plus, their measurements aren't even the same. During his draft combine, Elfrid measured 2 inches shorter and was like 25 pounds lighter. And I urge you guys to go back and watch some Elfrid Payton college clips. He simply didn't have the same eye-popping basketball IQ that AB has. It's just a baseless comp and simply a reflection of the PTSD some Magic fans have of the previous decade. To finish off, whatever Anthony Black's role will be, starting wing or backup point guard, his presence will allow the Magic to pull out several lineups featuring at least 4 playmakers with length and two-way abilities. That's a blueprint of modern contenders like the Nuggets, Celtics, and Bucks. He can play at the 3 in smaller lineups because of his length, playmaking, and IQ. And one day he'll be the lead facilitator and starting point guard once his shot improves. And with his elite work ethic and mindset, it wouldn't be wise to bet against him. Thanks for watching. To all the naysayers, do y'all feel better about the Anthony Black pick now? Please let me know in the comment section below. Shoutouts to all the new subscribers. It's a perfect time to hop on the Magic bandwagon because the future is finally looking bright. Please like this video if it brought some value to you and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for all the support. It means a lot to me as an independent Magic content creator. Peace and go Magic.